just saying this cover has nothing to do with the comic book.
Yeah. I mean, it has something to do with the comic book. I mean, all that stuff. All those people are in this book, but nothing that is on this cover. It's almost like they sell you on this idea that Cap, Wolf, and Wolverine, and some new red wolf, and another she wolf, and this other like burly wolf. They're all chums and stuff.
Well, by the way, this is Funny Book Forensics. We're covering Captain America 406, part Man and Wolf, part 5 of 6. The red wolf he's referring to is obviously Wolfsbane, who's an active member of X Factor at the time.
Yes. But I mean,
why she's in the book? I think she was in the first issue getting captured, if I remember correctly.
I don't think so. Because if that wasn't her. That was the wolf in the back of the image, I think, of the cover. Wolfsbane was if Wolfsbane was in the first book, she would have been like wrecking shop on this chump of a very bad rendition of our favorite it's like space dude with dolphins.
Well, Wolfsbane can become a wolf as well as a werewolf and a human, correct?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting too. If Wolfsbane is there, why didn't Wolfsbane just become a human and walk away?
Blend and run.
Well, I'm also disappointed to report that I did read the end of the story.
Oh no spoilers.
But the story doesn't end.
That's right. I know.
And there's like a half issue more of Cap Wolf to cover.
Which we will.
Yeah,
because we have to.
Yes,
you were so mad.
I believe also that next issue is an Infinity War crossover, which it did not make me excited at all, because Infinity War was not Infinity Gauntlet.
It wasn't that. But
it was not. Yeah. Yes.
You know. It was. I think they were going for that Infinity.
I think I was buffered from all the Infinity Wars and Gauntlets because I was only reading X-Men.
Oh.
So I was buffered from those things. So yeah.
I can hang with that because I wasn't reading it at the time either, so it wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, it was definitely my cup of tea. It was not my cup of tea, actually, until... I honestly didn't know much about the whole Infinity stuff at all. Like, I didn't know why Thanos was a big deal until much later, because I wasn't reading any of it, so...
You're like...
There you go.
Yeah.
Take that, Jim Starlin, who we didn't even talk to.
I know, we just walked right past that dude. Like, who's that? We already talked to you once. We don't need to
We probably should have actually talked to Jim Starlin at some point. But
though, so it was kind of, I mean, he had like 3 or 4 people deep.
Well, by the way, we're referring to Summercon. You're going to hear this a few weeks after we went to Summercon, but we did talk to Jim Shooter. If you saw our short, Jim Shooter agreed with us that John Byrne just copied all of Dave Cockrum's stuff.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
He did.
He also did say John Byrne has a huge resume and doesn't need to rest his laurels on X-Men designs.
No, he doesn't.
But definitely said they were Dave Cockrum's. I was shocked that he was that open with us about it and shared that. So it is settled. In fact, Jim Shooter, who wrote comic books with Dave Cockrum and lived at his house, so he might have been a little bit biased, but did definitely say that Dave Cockrum was it for the X-Men. So our analysis was correct in our previous episodes. That is good. We also met Dan Jurgens very briefly. He didn't have much time to talk, but he drew a beautiful print for me.
It is super cool. Like you said, like my response to you was like, did not do the picture justice, and I don't even know. Do you even expand upon how it was delivered to you?
I can, yeah. So, we thought, well, Dan Jurgens told me to pick it up at the end of the day. Yeah. So, we were watching Jim Shooter, and it was like 6 30, and I looked at you and said, I got to go get my art. So I go there to Dan Jurgens' table, and there's no Dan Jurgens. There's no one at the table. So I went over to Randy and Judy Emberlin. If you don't know who Randy Emberlin is, well, he'll happily have a big banner that says Spider-Man artist. But he inked Mark Bagley. What are you showing? I can't see it, but
he texted me to tell me how nice it was to talk to you and spend time with you.
Oh, did he? Okay, so Randy was the inker on Spider-Man for several years with Mark Bagley, and in the 90s, and then so Judy, his wife, said they would pick up the print for me and deliver it to my house. So they stopped by, and then Randy and I talked in the front yard for like 20 minutes. And then Judy was like, yeah, we got to go. You all can talk comics some other time. And I gave them a nice bottle of wine, some popcorn, and some cookies for their trip home the next day, and got my print from them. And so anyway, spoiler, it very much could happen that Randy Emberlin could end up on Funny Book Forensics. Yes. We asked Randy if he would be interested in doing a show about a comic book that he did that was not so great, to kind of continue the theme. And he said to me, I think you were standing there for that part. Yeah. He said to me, well, I've done many clunkers or something to that effect and would be happy to. So we may have to coordinate it. We may have to get him a microphone and stuff, but we could do it in the shop next time he comes up.
Or, I mean, like, we could get him and Ron Randall to hang out together, which they do occasionally, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. Well, we also owe a Trekker episode too for Ron. Yeah, so, and then we met some other folks too. We'll have some reviews of some local comics from the area coming up. So I got to actually email some folks and get the digital copy because I took both hard copies home. But
that's okay.
It's yeah, I think so. There's going to be over the next few months some fun stuff coming up. We will review some indie stuff. We'll also, but yeah, I mean, what a score it would be to get Randy Emberlin on the show. He's a delight to talk to. I used to always joke about Randy because he has a big banner that says Spider-Man artist, and I used to joke with you, and I would say, hasn't he done anything since the 90s? And I always feel guilty about that because he's the nicest human.
He is the nicest guy. Him and his wife are they're like, I would say that they are like my con parents or aunt and uncle. Like, whenever my wife and I see them at shows, they're just like a pleasure to be able to spend time with. And that was part of the message. He was like, I feel like it was great to be able to spend time with Dan, but I feel like I missed Greg time, and I only got like 5 minutes with you, buddy. and I'm like, oh. And then he messaged Ann and was like, I really miss seeing you at the show. Where were you? You know, it was just, it's they're like, literally they're people that we met when we first started, my wife and I started doing these shows. You know, for people that don't know, Ann and I have been doing shows like for, Dan, like, almost 15 years now. Like,
yeah,
she's been doing shows before she had the store, and before I was like, when I was writing, but before I had books out there. And she was like, this is going to be great. Someday you'll have a book out there, and this is just great experience for you. You know?
Yep.
And I've met a lot of really cool people, and these folks were part of those cool people that I got to meet. And I'm just really lucky to have folks like that have taken us under their wings and become those fun people that we get to see. So
well, I also thought they were great. I mean, I just walked up to, kind of in a panic, to Judy, and we had learned that they were staying close to my house earlier in the day. So I was just like, oh, well, could you bring this to my house? Like, I can meet, or I was going to have them meet me at a park and ride, but then I was just like, would you just be more comfortable just coming to my house? And they're like, well, yeah. So they came by, and yeah, it was great. So I got the pencil and ink from Dan Jurgens. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful wildfire.
So cool.
He even drew the Legion L in the background,
Yes.
Which was super cool. So I was asking about a couple characters and just asking, which one he'd prefer to draw. And he said he wanted to do Wildfire. Now, it seems like a trick because you don't have to draw a face that way.
I know. He got off so easy, dude.
But I think he made up for it. He said he liked to draw the little things on his costume. And it was a half from waist up. And he did draw everything. So I posted it online. And, of course, some douchebag wrote, just a bag of energy has muscles. Isn't that so interesting?
Oh, geez.
I'm like, fuck off, dude. Fuck off. Like, it's just because you live in your mom's basement and can't afford to go buy something from Dan Jurgens is no reason to shit on my art. So
I moved out of the basement. I'm sorry, it was my burner account that I got you with, and I am not in the basement anymore, and it's technically like my grandma's house now.
Yeah, I don't think your burner account would be on Legion of Superheroes groups, but that's okay.
I got set up just for you, dude.
Well, I think we should probably circle back to the issue before we get in a fight about burner accounts.
I will say the best part. I have to say this because, and we'll talk about it more. But the best part of the shooter conversation that you missed, and Lance, our dear buddy Lance, who listens to this podcast maybe 3 times, and maybe this might be the 4th time. We got to listen to him talk about Legion of Superheroes, and
without
you, because you were trying to get this picture, and
yes,
the whole time you were gone. Shooters talking about it. People often ask, which property do I think is the most underrated that I worked on? And it's going to be the Legion. And let me tell you why. And he goes on for 15 minutes, and that's the whole 15 minutes you were gone. And it was like,
well, the good news about that, I will say, is once we got the woman to shut up about German publishing, who she asked 17 questions in a row. I asked him a question about creator rights, and I'm actually, if I was gonna miss something, actually him talking about the Legion, while is a once in a lifetime thing for me to see, I've read so many interviews and articles in his blogs and things about the Legion. So I sort of feel like I know that, but I think the one piece I asked him, if you'll remember when we were doing the Destroyer Duck episodes, Steve Gerber, Steve Gerber specifically was not a big fan of Jim Shooter, didn't think that he really supported him in creator rights. And so I just straight up asked Jim Shooter and said, when I said the question was this, when you took over as editor-in-chief, it's easy to say that Marvel was at best a mess and a little bit chaotic. There were a lot of issues about creator rights. You came over right after Dave Cockrum, who famously left DC after they wouldn't give him his own artwork. And of course, Steve Gerber criticized you. Criticized you about creator rights in relation to Howard the Duck. Can you talk to us about the things you did for creator rights while you were at Marvel? And he dodged the Steve Gerber part completely.
He did.
But he did give us he didn't dodge it completely. I will tell you what he said in a second. But he gave us a nice 20-minute answer about all the things they did to both get Marvel to produce comic books on time, and then also help implement pieces for parts for creator rights, specifically royalties that didn't exist at Marvel previously. And the jab at Gerber was the whole discussion of being on time. So he talks about how they got the comics on time, and then toward the end he said, and we just had to fire people that could not get things done on time.
And if you know your comics history, which we talked about when we covered that, that he was a guy that did not last because of that.
So it was it was an interesting way to lay it out without naming names. He did name a couple of names that he brought in to Marvel Comics to help him, but he did not implicate anyone. But it was a very cool opportunity to listen to him talk, and I am sad I didn't get to hear him talk about the Legion, but at the same time, I probably can tell you the talking points from what he said about the Legion. So
he did talk about Grimbor too. That was kind of cool about the design.
I don't think he talked about Grimbor at all.
He did not, but it would have been cool.
He did tell us. So if you want to the inside, I had the original comic that he did at, I think it's Adventure at 347. No, that's not right. But anyway, it's the first. I had the first issue he wrote as a 13-year-old, signed by him. And then for funsies, Greg and I got a Grimbor issue, the first appearance of Grimbor the Chainsman, signed. And that was drawn by Mike Grell. Dave Cockrum had already left for Marvel, and Jim Shooter was going over to Marvel at the time. It was one of his last issues before Levitz actually took over for a small run and writing. And he mentioned to us that he'd showed the script to Dave Cockrum, and Dave Cockrum wanted to draw it, which doesn't surprise me because Grimbor screams of Soho fashion that Dave would have liked drawing. But yeah, I mean, Grimbor also screams of, Mr. S. Leather. So it's, it is a thing. But yeah, that was fun. And I think the first one Jim signs and is happy and to tell us a story, but I think he was truly pleased to sign the Grimbor issue. Like he grinned and talked about it. Because obviously signing your first one, that's a big deal, but I think a lot of people probably have him sign that issue. But signing the other one, he grinned and told us a story about it. And, that's one of the fun things, too. I recommend not always bringing the most famous issue to somebody to sign. Bring an issue you want them to tell a story about.
Yeah. Don't be like me and bring Secret Wars number 8.
Yeah, loser.
I know.
You and the guy behind you with the 17 copies of it.
And then he's like, oh, I'll just put a couple of these away.
I don't know how many I can afford, guys. Like, I just am buying these to entomb them, and I can't afford. I can't afford.
He's like,
I can't afford these comics. Everyone should know that this is Secret Wars number 8, and I should get a free signature from Jim Shooter. It's God.
He's like, are you getting it slapped? I was like, no, I bought this for 25 cents when I was in 9th grade. I'm just putting it back in my box. Really?
Well, I love how Randy Emberlin charges more for the first appearance of Carnage than he does for a standard signature, and that always makes me laugh. Yeah,
because it's like, that's his thing. That's like, he made that. I mean, I don't know. For me, like the Secret Wars, like I bought that from Gabby when I was in 9th grade. I think it's just funny when I look back at like that is just a dumb like
Well, yep. Well, and if you have 8 copies of Secret Wars number 8 and you want to go get them signed by Jim Shooter and entombed and sell them, dude, more power to you, but don't whine about the price of the autograph. When you're going to get that signed, if it's a 9.4 or higher, you're going to turn around and sell it for $100 to, depending on how high a grade, $100 to $500. So pay for the autograph, pay for the $35 to get it entombed, and then, go on with your life and make your $40 profit, but don't cheat out on the artists that are artists and writers that do the books. Yeah. But anyway, I was laughing.
His 4 signed and thrown back in his backpack.
Yeah. Well, I think we should get into the book. We did have fun at Summercon. And we gave out lots of stickers to people, but...
Oh, we got a new listener, everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Ming Chen just wanders up to Greg like they've been best friends forever, right in the middle. Pushes his handler aside and starts talking to Greg.
It's surreal because I do shows and stuff, and I've met Ming. We're casual acquaintances. I've met him.
Your con friends.
I've met him a few times at different shows and stuff like that. So we're just talking shop about Comic-Con, which Dan and I did last year, and because of work schedules and grandma schedules and other stuff like that, we're not able to do this year. But Ming's going to be there, and he's want to know, are you going to be there? And I was like, no, I'm not going to be there. So go have a good time. For us this year, maybe we'll be there again next time with you. So he saw us in our regalia and our funny book forensic hats and shirts, and he's like, "What's this?" Because I don't think.
And he took a sticker.
Yeah, he took a sticker, and because he knows I write stuff, but I don't think he knows that I do podcasts, which is funny because I've been doing we've been doing this for like 4 years.
Well, you have, and I'll just say too. Randy Emberlin was nice enough to say to me, we were talking about doing panels, and I mentioned, when I go to Omaha, I do panels, but out here, the showrunners don't have me do anything. And he's like, why? And I said, I don't really know. But he's like, you should advertise yourself better.
That's true.
And I said, yeah. And Greg and I will do panels, and he goes, well, I could see you doing panels with your big voice, but I don't see Greg doing that.
That's so funny.
Which I thought that was funny. So,
it's true. When you only know somebody is one way, which I'm just a goofy guy to most people that know me around, that see me around. But then when you see me in show mode, work mode, talking mode.
Yep.
Whatever.
It happens. Well, in podcast mode. And we are going to circle back to the book. So,
because we're about to attack this Wolfpack like nobody's seen.
Well, I actually just want to march through this as quickly as humanly possible. So,
I've been stalling.
You are. So, Man and Wolf,
so
part 5 of 6.
Oh, God.
Issue 406, early September, $1.25. We got Cap up in the corner. We got Cap Wolf in the middle. We've got Wolverine on the side. We've got Wolfsbane, who hasn't been introduced in the story at all, I don't think.
Not at all.
And we've got 2 random werewolves, and it says Wolfpack attack. Yeah.
It is something. And when I saw Wolfpack attack, I got excited because I thought
something.
It was Wolfpack, the comic.
I also am going to say that might be the worst. You're not wrong. And I know I undersold you there. I'm sorry. I was just literally about to say, if you look at Wolverine's face and Wolfbane's face, I mean, they are face. Like they're not though because Wolverine has all the weird crappy lines on his face. But if you look at the hair and everything there on it and everything, this looks just like a shitty version of a Rob Liefeld cover.
It kind of is because they don't got any feet.
They don't got any feet. The hairstyles are those styles that he was drawing in X-Force.
What the heck is going on, man?
I don't know because, I just think, Levins cannot find an art style.
Expect the unexpected with the Wolfpack attack.
Because I was actually thinking the art was getting better and then in this cover, I was just like, well... And then we turn the page and we have a flat grid lattice. So congratulations. He found something that he can draw very well, and he's going to continue to draw it. This grid lattice is like something we were taught to draw in 8th grade art class. So good. I mean, he's going back to his roots here. This is a Mark Gruenwald story. Thanks. Yeah. Right in the middle of me saying who people were. You hit the longest effing sound effect on your board.
I know.
Mark Gruenwald on the story. It just says story. Rick Levins on pencils. Danny Bulanadi on inks. Joe Rosen on letters. Gina going colors. Ralph Macchio, editor. Tom DeFalco, more editor. And fuck you for the Clone Spider saga. Okay. So...
I hear we're going to do that after we're done with this.
And there's no way in hell.
But I bought them all while we were at the show.
We will consider doing the Spider Clone stuff in 2031. So it will be... did Randy draw those?
No.
Because
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. Yeah, if Randy inked them, I will do it with Randy on the show.
I'll ask him.
Well, it was a crossover. He said they canceled. He was talking about they canceled Web, and he was saying when. Anyway, okay, we'll have to go back to it. But anyway, Steve Rogers, born in the USA, raised to cherish the ideals of democracy, endowed with a superhuman physique, and driven to be the most capable combatant in the world. Now, as both lone crusader and leader of the renowned Avengers, he fights an ongoing battle for liberty, justice, and the American dream. He is Captain America, presented by Stan Lee. And we have, what's her face? The werewolf queen.
Oh, yeah, the werewolf
here.
queen. And
but she's not the werewolf queen anymore.
I know it looks like
Dr. Midnight.
Not Dr. Midnight, but yeah, Dr. Midnight.
Dr. Nightshade.
Dr. Nightshade.
It's we're gonna take a bunch of Golden Age character names, just combine them together, and she's making Captain America go to bed. So she's sending him to his bed, and then we get some awesome Captain America dialogue here. So grr. And on the next page, we get, her words confuse. Now, shouldn't trust her. But what else do? Need to make her change me back. Back to what? Human, not wolf. How? Make her down here. Shouldn't have come here. So hard to keep thoughts straight. Figures in darkness, more wolf people. Coming closer. What they want. Trying to. What word? Intimidate me. You know, if we do it as Shatner.
Yes.
I think it gets better.
Oh.
I was also thinking too, like, I mean, the dialogue is so shitty, and it reminds me of Super Baby comics from so Super Baby usually got replaced by Superboy, got replaced by the Legion in backups. Like that, the Super Baby stuff never lasted, but you know, they would always keep bringing it back.
Super Baby.
And Super Baby, me want. You know, like it was just anyway.
I'm so glad
that's what this reminds me of. It's just shit.
And that's why when we did Supernatural Baby Detective, we wrote it like a real human man.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm not want to touch that right now. So then we get next page, and there's wolves, and he's like, "Stay back, not come closer," and there's a big white wolf, and they're gonna fight or something. And he says, "Big white wolf, others slinked off when me came out." And now we do. Fight me. Why? He want fight. He, leader of pit wolves.
Pit wolves.
Wish I could talk. Yeah, do I have to read all this?
Yeah, I'm going to make you
through the whole issue?
Greg's secret. Greg didn't read the book.
No. What to do? Remember. Hate you. From. Other form. Sidestep. End. This quick. Others. Backing. Off. Ears down. I beat leader. So basically, Storm just beat Calypso and now leads the Morlocks.
Yes! Yeah, that's
right.
Actually, okay, yeah, I get that reference. I read that book.
Okay, so now we go back to Dr. Dumbass and Dr. Dummy.
Yes.
And Dr. Dumbass, fake shitty Dr. Strange, is strung up and has a mask on his face.
Yeah.
And Dr. Drummond, Dr. Drummond, actually, that's Willis and and Arnold's dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He got really fed up with Kimberly's drinking though, and he turned to a life of crime.
Oh boy.
So.
And now he's going to cut off his hair, which has all his power in it, his chakra.
If you all get the different Strokes references, then more power to all of you.
Yeah.
Like, that would be amazing.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he cuts his hair because he's Samson, and
cuts off his
now
power.
he doesn't have any powers. I don't know. Maybe he'll die. They say he's going to slice his throat. And the best possible thing that could happen to this character is that he dies. So that'd be fine. We're back in the pit, and we get Girl Can Talk. And Wolfsbane appears, who has apparently, she has just been hanging out in the pit. Can't figure out how to get out or contact X-Force or X-Factor. She's not in X-Force. She's not in New Mutants. She's in X-Factor, who they announce. She announces it, so she lets you know. Okay, so apparently she's been here the whole time.
Hiding in the pit.
And she got captured. She was compelled to go there, and she got captured by Shitty Lobo. And Moonbeam or Moon Dragon or Moonshine or whatever the fuck he is. Moon Hunter. That's what it is. And
Rick Hunter.
Anyway,
Rip Hunter?
Yeah, so we go. No, not Rip Hunter. That's a different. That's.
You're like, I knew if I said that, you get pissed.
No. Yeah. No.
No.
So,
Take it back.
I mean, we do have the time people. Well, anyway, it's the it's interesting too because we have Wolfsbane in a comic book we get Cable on the next page for some reason.
Right.
So we have more exposition.
I was like, Cable, what are you doing here?
Cable. Well, Cable appeared in the last issue for a second, but now we get girl can talk now, need to learn. And she starts teaching him how to talk, and he goes, "Rrr." I'm not going to do his actually talking dialogue, so that's just not going to happen. Anyway, Wolfsbane and Cap give us some exposition, and then Cable and Shatterstar. Look, Shatterstar's clearly survived from his experience in the power lines.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, wait, that was much later in a different universe, but that's okay.
Right.
So I just want to say right now, for everyone that shits on, right, the original Cable art, if you look at this page, you will think that Rob Liefeld is the greatest artist in the history of artists.
Because this is minimal.
Hot garbage. Yeah. It's hot garbage. The facial close-up is so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Either, I don't know what he's doing here. He's more lines
face.
now. Is he trying to, why is there a bunch of cross-hatching on the face?
Yeah.
And is he trying to do Rob Liefeld here? What is the goal? I don't know.
His eyes are so monstrous.
And why does Wolfbane have nothing on her face, right? It's just like a...
Her face is so clean compared to the Cap Wolf, who looks like a...
Also, the Shatterstar drawing is abysmal.
It is.
It is...
It's
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Cable's thighs are bigger than his shoulders.
It looks like, if you were hungry and he lost a thigh, you could eat for days. That's not but you know what I mean.
We find out that Farrell is missing. Farrell was a member of X-Force who turned out to be a traitor.
Oh.
I don't know at what point she was discovered to be that, so I don't know where we're at in that storyline right now. But apparently she was gone.
Yeah.
We get back, and now I don't have to read stuff because now Cap Wolf is talking to people.
Oh, cool.
And he's encouraging all the werewolves to join together as a team. Clearly something that Wolfsbane couldn't do. Who is just there for I don't know why.
Wait
and then they build a cheerleading pyramid.
Why can't she couldn't do this.
Yeah. Well, they build a cheerleading pyramid.
Yeah, of wolves.
And now, oh God, now. Understand my words. Working together. Do what no one could alone. Reach trapdoor lock. Must break it. Or rebellion. Nowhere. No option. Up to me. Must. Fuck. Break. Lock. And they even wrote it that way, by the way. So,
Yeah.
Super soldier and wolf serum. Magnify strength. Now help people. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm not going to say it again. Why? So did they give him the super soldier serum back just so they could write this shitty story?
Yeah, they must have.
Did he get it back in 400?
I'm assuming so.
Well, now in the continuing saga of Captain America keeps losing his friends, we're back in Central Park for 2 panels to point out that Dennis Dunphy is still missing. That was our big wrestler friend.
Damn it.
And this subplot must continue.
Did Cap lose him, or did she lose him?
Cap lost him. Cap loses everyone. Remember, Cap lost him in an ice block first, and it made him that way. Man. So, yeah.
Cap, this is bad to be friends with Cap. Cap's gonna lose you.
Now we're back. Now we flip the page, and Dr. Drummond. What you talking about, Willis? Is talking to
Moon Knight,
Moon Hunter, and
Moon
Werewolf Queen.
Yeah, Queen of the Wolves.
And he just randomly starts yelling at him for all his mistakes. and the werewolf queen's trying to break Dreadman's hold over Moon Hunter's mind. And okay, I don't know why. There was no real build up to that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then I feel like this story was supposed to be longer, and it got shortened, maybe for a crossover in a couple issues. But
maybe editorial said, "Hey, you know what? This eight issue story needs to be cut down to 6, so you're gonna lose two books."
Because you're going to have an Infinity War crossover. Or maybe editorial was like, we fucked up. We are a shitty editing team because we didn't get Capwolf until the 4th issue.
Yeah.
But anyway, shitty Doctor Strange is strung up like he's hanging from a cross, except he's not on a cross.
He's on a Stonehenge.
And we go back to the pit. Just one more to bring up. The one I beat to become leader of the pack. What? That was the silver one.
Yeah.
Why is he bringing up a brown one?
It's not the brown.
Okay.
He didn't beat the brown one to become the leader of the pack.
Okay.
He's a liar.
Just remember, something came here to look for somebody. Who was it? Friend of mine named John. One of these. Him?
Question mark. So he still can't find his friend after all this. Anyway, all the wolves go to fight people, and then Wolverine tries to kill Captain America again from his jail cell. They don't let him out, and then they open a door and they meet Moon Hunter and the Werewolf Queen. Cap goes to take out Shitty Lobo. Everybody else goes after the Werewolf Queen. There's a big to-do.
Oh man, it's wild. It's on.
They undress Moon Hunter.
Yeah.
And
Reagan.
that means he doesn't get to talk about all his padding.
Oh man, he doesn't have his padding anymore because he's naked, and it's Ronald Reagan under there.
It might be. I don't know.
It looks like Ronald Reagan.
It might. Well, we get more exposition from the Werewolf Queen. She's like, how could they escape? But I can use this to my advantage against Dreadmond. We still don't know what that's all about. And don't worry, you won't find out. Then the Moon Hunter gets unmasked.
Oh. It is Ronald Reagan.
He kind of does look like Ronald Reagan. We get some more. We get another Captain America thought bubble.
Thought this might be John, but it is someone I never saw before.
Why would he think that the Moon Hunter guy was John when John turns into a werewolf?
Because he thought he was John because he was so badass. And John is badass.
Well, anyway, there's a werewolf on the table that they've been getting blood from named Jack Russell. Oh, how fucking clever. Yeah. He came by his lycanthropy supernaturally, so they've been using his blood. So he's a werewolf mutant.
Oh boy.
Couldn't they have just been using Wolfsbane's blood, and then it would have been an easier story, to explain why she was there? It's true. That kind of would seem like what they wanted. Well, anyway, they capture the Werewolf Queen and they restrain her, and she can't stand being restrained.
No.
But she tells him that their friend, Dr. Druid, shitty Doctor Strange, if you're keeping track, needs some help. And then he's strung up in front of a bunch of werewolves in front of Dr. Dreadman. And Captain America breaks in and they cut Dr. Druid's throat, and he'll be dead forever, thank God.
Oh my goodness.
And that little orb thing plops down
out of his throat.
And then it goes over to shitty Dr. Doom, Dr. Dreadman, whatever the fuck he is. And we are continued to... Oh, wait, hang on.
He sliced Dr. Druid's throat. I'm too late. Notice the dialogue is getting clearer as we go. He no longer sounds like the wolf dialogue. What is happening to him changing before my eyes? Into what?
Oh, no.
Concluded in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Well, good. Dr. Druid's dead forever. I can see the blood running out of his throat at least. So
we saw him at SummerCon.
We that was very mean of us, but yes. Well, we flip the page and Stan Lee presents Diamondback.
Diamond's back. Oh, Diamondback.
They're still fighting Hobgoblin.
Skull Mountain. That sounds like a cool game.
They're still fighting shitty Hobgoblin, shitty Batman, and is that Cobra?
Yeah, it's Cobra Commander.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, and to echo us all, we had Crossbones and Diamondback climbing up the side of the mountain, and Crossbones says, "Who the fuck are these guys?" To which I said when I saw Crossbones the first time, "Who the fuck is that?" So it works.
Cue the music.
The best. And they let them know. Well, and then they talk. He wants to go see Red Skull again. And we find out one of them says that's not named, "You ever hear of Crossbones, Jack-o'-lantern?" He says, "Can't say I have. How about you, Blackwing?" So,
okay.
But
names.
I still don't know who the Cobra guy is in the middle.
He's the best around.
Well, we get Fight on Skull Mountain, brought to us by Mark Gruenwald, Larry Alexander on pencils, Ariane, who has another name, but is just listed as Ariane on inks, and Steve Dutro on the letters. And anyway, we get some fancy dialogue, and we start to get into a fight. Pretty much the other people are lame and suck and keep getting beat up by Crossbones. We get Diamondback falls down and steps on something, and then falls down some more.
But she jumps
and
like a cat.
Yeah, and then she attacks Jack-o'-lantern. And and then
this one's snake venom.
Yeah, ours gonna, and then so they take her in, and then we get a page turn, and we find out that the guy in the green stuff is like, "Oh, I shouldn't have been such a terrible person." And he realizes that Diamondback is his baby sister, so this was her big brother from the flashback that went to train at the special crime school that then she went to train at.
To find her big brother.
Yeah. All right. It was great.
Didn't her big brother? She thought her big brother got killed though, and that's why she went to the crime school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Become an assassin to kill the guy who killed her big brother. That's why I thought she went to the crime school. This is not making sense, Dan. I mean, it is making sense, but it's not making sense.
It's not making any sense. Well, they made it somewhere to go see Red Skull again, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly. We have the letters column. I didn't find anything here of real note this time.
Nothing?
No.
Not a one? There's 20 to choose from.
Okay, fine. Dear American Graffiti Writers, when issue 383 came out last June, I wrote praising the U.S. agent story.
Yeah.
Now, a scant 17 issues later, I find myself doing the same. In fact, U.S. Agent Falcon story was a better read than the Kree Shi'ar episode. Here it is. This is about 400. Here it is witnessed the agent now has transcended into Guy Gardner Captain America image and is truly worthy replacement. So I love it when we've been talking about all the ripoff characters, and then they're basically like, yeah, U.S. Agent is now just ripping off Guy Gardner's personality from DC. So that's awesome. Although the trademark Macchio image is still present, he actually used cunning in his rematch against the Flag Smasher, whoever that is. I cheered when the Shield returned into action. I hope the Agent and Falcon can work together again soon. As for the main story, it lacked the idea of having all of Captain's foes fight him is a good premise, but didn't quite work for me. I'm glad that it was only an illusion because it really would have been corny to actually transport them all to the Kree galaxy. Oh my god, this sounds terrible. I would much rather have preferred to see Cap try to escape. This is from Joe Kuchansky of 1116 Sycamore Street. Haddon Heights, New Jersey 08035. If you want to write Joe and let him know if you agree or disagree with him. The editor's note, as we said, everyone had his favorite part of Cap 400. The inclusion of Cap's Rogues Gallery was our tribute to Cap's long legacy of supervillain Duke outs. Sorry, it didn't work for you. This sounds like one of those responses you get when you get a bad review on like Google.
Yeah. Sorry it didn't work out for you. The pizza, we make our pizzas fresh every day. Sorry you don't like
we know we did a good job. Fuck off. Well, next issue, the Howling wrap up to Man and Wolf, featuring among other things Capped Wolf versus Cable. But I will also let you know it's not the wrap up. So next episode we're going to be doing issue 407 and the first half of issue 408.
Whoa! Watch out! That's like a issue and a half. Everybody, get your hold on to your shorts or whatever that means. I don't know.
I think the other just lesson we've learned here is this shitty story is so bad. They're forcing like Wolverine into it for no reason. Now Cable's going to show up for no reason.
Has no place in this except he fights Catwolf for like a page, not even a page, like 4 panels, and then you got like another like a mutant in there for like a minute. She could have actually been a whole entire great story, but we don't have anything, and then. You gonna put Cable in here because Cable's hot for a second? Ugh.
Yeah. Well, and we get like, because Feral ran away.
Yeah.
Like Feral is a cat, not even a wolf, right?
Yeah.
Isn't?
But we gotta.
So why?
Because it's in the time frame. Come on. I will agree with the letter though that.
Yeah, and it's great. My dumbass neighbors are blasting their car horn on the 17 cars they fix in the cul-de-sac. So this is fun right now.
Put it back on again.
Awesome.
I agree with that note about U.S. Agent though. Definitely Guy Gardner, esque. I never picked up on that when I was younger reading that though because it was not in my wheelhouse of knowledge. But now that I've read Guy Gardner stuff and can match it up, I do see that connection.
Okay.
Do you see that connection? Do you not, or have you not read enough?
I don't know anything about U.S. Agent.
It is very,
I generally shied away, and we've talked about this before. I generally shied away from
the West Coast
those.
Avengers. I mean, it's very now. Like,
well, I didn't get the end of the West Coast Avengers, even though I know the run was really quite good.
Yeah. Whenever I get books like that, and people come into the shop. And whenever I get West Coast Avengers books and people come into the shop and they're like, oh, I really want something that I've never read before. I'm like, asking them if they've ever read West Coast Avengers. And they say no. And I am like, oh, this cover looks
Yeah, no, by the way, we're looking at the cover for the next issue and it might be the worst Cable drawing I've ever seen.
It looks like a GoBot. Cable looks like a GoBot. If you go look up Cycle, why can't I think of his name? The bad guy GoBot. What's the bad guy GoBot? The motorcycle guy. That GoBot motorcycle guy.
They're GoBots, I don't know.
Oh, come on, Dan. Motorcycle. GoBot motorcycle. Come on. Why can't I machine run a motorcycle?
Well, while you're looking up that
Sidekill.
Well, while you're looking up that, we've wrapped up this, and so I do want to, of course, thank our friends at project-nerd.com for promoting our podcast and putting it on their site. If you go there, you can also listen to stand-ups. Sorry, I don't know why I said startups there.
Startups. It's all about if you want to wear spandex but start a business. This is the podcast for you. Imagine yourself in your kitchen wearing spandex but baking cakes. Any kind of cakes. You got what it takes. That's what I'm talking about. Brownies, chocolate chip cookies. You got it. Cupcakes, triple layers, whatever it is, you're doing it in spandex. You want to make soap? Be it. Soap, be it. That would be a great thing if you were making soap and you were selling it on Etsy. That would be my name. Soap be it.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
That's a spandex startup right there. Take the name, run with it, make $1 million.
I also think you should place yourself strategically next to Spatula City in most strip malls. So
we sell spatulas. That's all.
Yeah, it seems makes sense. So I'm visiting Project Nerd right now. They're advertising spandex stand-ups and they advertise us. That's creative. Also, creative. I mean, so that's important. I just would also like to note Project Nerd is your home of medical advice.
Oh yeah,
so
the best medical advice you can find is on Project Nerd.
Yeah, if you want to find out what to do if your limbs have turned into snakes, this is definitely the best place to go for you.
Snake
so
limbs.
don't look on WebMD. No. Go straight here.
Straight to Project Nerd. You got snake limbs. They're gonna charm you. Wait.
Yeah.
They're gonna charm you. They're gonna charm you.
That's it.
You got snake arms.
That's exactly with Charma and Grimbor. So
Charma and Grimbor with your snake arms.
Yeah. That'll be good. We also want to, of course, thank jiu-jitsu lawyer Paul Boudreau. Yes. And if you want to get some amazing jiu-jitsu training and you're in the Seattle-Tacoma area, you could always go to Certified Martial Arts or Certified Jiu-Jitsu at 27th and Jackson here in University Place /Tacoma. And of course, if you want to relive your childhood, you could always visit the Retro Emporium on Meeker Street in Kent, Washington.
Hey, you could come down.
Randy Emberlin and Judy Emberlin say to go there, so why would you not?
That's true.
And do you have anything else to plug right now?
Right now, go get yourself a copy of, because it's summertime and we're all about summer camp here at the Funny Book Forensics, a copy of Camp Launchpad, Absolute Zero's Camp Launchpad.
Okay.
That's the title of my own book.
Well, you definitely should do that. And on that note, I think we're probably done. So we're done.
Note, don't go bowling. It's dangerous.
Oh, I don't know. Greg can't. Greg.
Yes.
Before we go, why did you try to bowl with the ball at the weight I was using?
Dude, I bowled. When those kids left, I grabbed their balls. That doesn't sound right. I grabbed.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Greg is going to end up in the same place as one certain comic book writer that we accidentally talked about on the show once.
I grabbed.
We'll be seeing Greg in 10 to 20.
I grabbed their bowling balls, and I threw the children's bowling balls, which are very light.
Yes.
And that was a mistake, too.
Well, you didn't need to grab the 8-pound or the 15-pound ball I was using. You could have grabbed like a 12.
I couldn't fit my fingers in it. My fingers are too fat, Dan.
Okay. Well, see, that's... Yeah, I mean, admittedly, you didn't have to use... Well, anyway.
I tried
well, Greg hurt himself bowling.
And then I threw that ball without my hand in the hole of the bowling ball.
And that's when you hurt yourself.
Well, and I threw that thing down the thing, and it was crazy. You ever seen...
That's when you hurt yourself.
Did you see that thing even touch the ground?
Like, I think the best was watching the people next to us that actually knew how to bowl a ball.
Were great.
and the one woman who was so deliberate, like, she would line up everything, line it up just perfectly, and then just slowly roll, and the little ball would spin and hit in the middle like it's supposed to. I'm just up there hucking the ball at literally, like, hucking a 15-pound ball down the lane, and they were laughing about it. They're like, they're like, can you throw that any harder?
They were bowling like
yes, I can.
When you like imagine like a Wii bowling, like on Wii Sports bowling, it's like you bowl perfect every time. That's how they bowl. It's like boom, and they bowl perfect, and like the ball has the spin, and it just like goes right into where it needs to go. We're bowling like Xbox hit 3 buttons. And it's getting down there, but it's like knocking like 3 pins. Like, Dan, you hit some strikes. I was hitting like 3 pins, and then 3 pins, and I was leaving 2 pins.
Well, you beat me the second game, so
yeah,
wait.
You fell.
but that's fair. Well, anyway, maybe next year we'll have some other people join us for bowling, but we had fun. And
People joined us. There was people on the right side and the left side. We didn't know them, but they joined us. We had a great time.
Well, on that note, I think we did have a great time. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap this one up. So next week, we finish up Cap Wolf. And then after Cap Wolf, I think we'll be on to something. We'll either be on to Trekker.
Yes.
Or we'll be on to Barkham Asylum.
Oh, Barkham Asylum.
We'll probably be on to both. So
yeah. I'm excited about both books. Knowing both the creators of both those items, I am excited about being able to cover both of them. So I find both of them exciting.
I'll also just say, if you listen to the podcast, and we know 2 people do.
Yeah, 2 people do. Now 3.
We had a couple of people say we don't listen because we're, and I probably need to do a little bit better advertising. We don't listen because we haven't read the book you're talking about. Now, we are making sure that we go ahead and sacrifice ourselves and read these terrible books so you don't have to.
You don't have to read them.
So if you have a friend if you just want to listen to the podcast, well, just listen to the podcast. And then if you like the book, you could always pick it up and read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But you don't have to read the book. In fact, you could just listen to us talk about the book.
We talk about it. You don't read it.
And then make that decision. And if you want to see shitty Doctor Strange for yourself, then you can pick up the book and read it.
And you go find shitty Doctor Strange or totally terrible Lobo, and then you're like, wow, they were right.
You may in fact want to go pick up every appearance of Dr. Druid.
Yeah.
After this, you might like it.
You might like it.
So that is the thing. If you do listen to the podcast, and you can let people know, half the fun is learning about this stuff. It's not just. You don't have to. No reading ahead required. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But there's no reading ahead required.
We do the homework.
We're going to analyze these things. In fact, I didn't do a good job analyzing because anyway, that'll be next episode actually when Diamondback is bound in the corner of a room. So that's next. That's next comic.
That one is a lot to unpack.
Yeah, and Starry Wolf.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna just say this, and for everyone listening right now, we've already said this before. These are bad thus far. I did think they could get worse, and as we talked about,
and they do. Yeah. The one thing about this issue, and I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, so this is the last comment about this issue. It was just a terrible issue. There wasn't anything patently offensive about it.
Yeah. It was just
awful.
It is what it was.
It was just awful.
Mediocre.
Now, next time it's going to be both a terrible issue and patently offensive. Yeah. So it's going to be great. Yeah.
I mean, it's a product of its time, Dan. We could say that, and that's a cheap excuse.
That is well, anyway. All right, so we also find out next issue that that Gruenwald wrote Captain America longer than any other writer.
That's a feather in his cap.
Yes. All right. Well, let's wrap. That's a fair point. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm Dan. That's Greg, and this was your beautiful episode of Funny Book Forensics. Thanks. Bye.
Shoot. Uh-oh. I can't find it.